Good afternoon, everyone. It's time for Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today, we'll join Volusia Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley for a look at some high-flying, white-knuckle fun. Then it's over to health reporter Stephanie Strong for some insight about the services available through the Volusia County Health Department. And finally, we'll join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a discussion with his guests, Rob Ehrhardt, the county's Economic Development Manager, and Kerry Symolon, the Interim Director of Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation. So we hope you'll stick around for those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. School begins this week in Volusia County, and motorists are urged to drive with caution in school zones.
Well, when you come to any school zone, to start with, the school zones are there for a reason. You have children in the area. You have children that are crossing the roads. And it's your duty to slow down to the posted limit that's in that school zone, to watch for the children and to make sure that you stop if any children are crossing the road or you're directed to stop.
Drivers in Orange City should be extra alert due to a new school zone in that area. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office and the Florida Department of Transportation and other local partners developed the new school zone at US 1792 at Rhode Island Avenue to improve safety for students there.
The school zone on 1792 was placed at Rhode Island because that is the major road going into all the schools. Also had a traffic light at that intersection, and just it was most centrally located to where most of the students live.
The school zone will include reduced speeds of 20 miles per hour during school hours. Volusia County Sheriff Ben Johnson said the school zone will improve safety greatly in this area because it raises awareness of drivers and pedestrians.
And it's very important, no matter where you're at, that you take and you drive with the caution. When you get into the school zones, to slow down. When you're just driving in general, to watch for these kids because they may not be watching for you.
Volusia County has added sidewalks to a few major roads near the schools. New lighting was installed on Rhode Island Avenue, and traffic will be switched to one-way on Scholars Path for this school year. Planning on visiting Volusia County's beautiful beaches? Be sure to leave no trace behind and take all of your beach items, including tents and chairs, off of the beach when you leave.
Well, we certainly like it when people come to the beach and they can bring things to make themselves comfortable, such as a lawn chair or cooler, and they can have shade. The problem is that over the years, many beachgoers leave that on the beach at night, and the beach is not closed at night to pedestrians, so people walking, it really becomes a safety hazard for people. Over the past couple years, items that have been left unattended at night have been tagged to alert the owners they should remove it, but that hasn't become enough to convince everybody that they need to take their things with them when they leave at night. So last Thursday, August 9th, the County Council passed an ordinance, and so items left unattended on the beach, recreational items, portable things such as pop-up tents, portable volleyball nets, coolers, chairs, anything left between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning is subject to removal, and it will be removed.
The new ordinance took effect August 11th, but items won't be immediately removed.
We're developing materials and we're educating people along the beach and beach goers about the new ordinance.
After the education period, items left unattended on the beach between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. will be considered abandoned, and they will be removed and discarded by county staff. The Volusia County Council in June kicked off a new county-city partnership to operate Votran trolley service along the beach side in the greater Daytona Beach area. Business operators along Votran's trolley route have been given trolley passes to hand out to their guests. Votran General Manager Steve Scherer said the trolley ridership increase in July is encouraging, but it's too early to gauge the effectiveness of the new pass program.
We've been excited to analyze the data from the last month, the first full month of the Trolley Pass program, the month of July. And after our analysis, we determined that ridership is up. Ridership is up just under 9%. And so that's exciting exciting news for us. We unfortunately at this point can't quite determine yet whether or not those are new riders or whether or not that's folks that are taking advantage of the opportunity to utilize those passes. But we can say that that the ridership is up, and that's always promising.
Business operators along the trolley route have been provided one-day Votran passes for use by customers. These passes can be used on the trolley and connecting Votran bus service. The passes become active at the first boarding, and then the passenger can use the pass for unlimited trips for the next 24 hours. More information is available on Votran.org, the transit system's website. There's a new attraction in Volusia County that combines nature and adrenaline. Joanne Magley has more on this unique eco-adventure in this week's Volusia Here and Now.
It's physically challenging, yet exhilarating. Young folks can do it, older folks can do it. It's just great fun.
Percy Williamson, the Director of Leisure Services for the City of Daytona Beach, is talking about Zoom Air.
1, 2, 3, go! All right.
It's a new aerial adventure attraction inside the city's Tuscarora Park that city officials say is a great fit.
We have been trying to show the business community that Daytona Beach is business friendly, and we welcome new businesses to Daytona, but it works for us on several different levels. One, this was an underutilized park. We had very few uses for the park. Not many people came here. We had a vagrant problem, a negative element that was here. When Zoom Air came in, and this is the residual that we've gotten, it's a great business deal. The city is receiving revenue. If Zoom Air does well, the city does well.
Tina Batten, the administrator at Zoom Air, says the location at Tuscarora Park, which is at the corner of International Speedway Boulevard and Nova Road, was chosen partly because it's very accessible. But the main reason for choosing this park?
Mostly because of the trees, because we don't build parks on poles. We use the trees. That's part of our signature. And Tuscarora Park had perfect trees.
At Zoom Air, it's not just zip lining, it's a treetop adventure, like walking the floating bridge.
This should be tight enough.
Anyone who wants to take part in the treetop adventure
You were good there? You want to turn around for me?
must first go through a safety briefing where you are taught how to use the equipment and games safely.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Woo! Operators are on the ground to monitor the progress and are available for any questions along the way. It takes about 2 hours to go through the course, and currently the park has enough harnesses to accommodate about 100 people. Perfect for a corporate outing and especially for families, as there's no age limit, just a height restriction of 54 inches tall. In addition to bringing more adventure to Volusia County, Zoom Air is bringing new jobs.
They've hired 14 new people. It created jobs for locals.
It's kind of funny, people are thanking us for coming here, and that's a nice feeling, but we thank them for having us here, so it's a mutual appreciation society, I guess.
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
For more information on Zoom Air, you can visit the company's website at zoomair.us/Daytona Beach. Sexually transmitted diseases are a major public health concern. The Volusia County Health Department offers testing, treatment, and counseling for individuals with sexually transmitted diseases. Public Information Officer Stephanie Strong has more in this segment of Community Health Matters.
Sexually transmitted diseases are a major public health concern. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there are more than 19 million new cases of STDs each year in the United States.
Well, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, are infections that are transmitted by close contact. And these infections can be potentially non-curable, as well as cause problems with sterility in young females who get these infections.
Good morning. My name is Leroy Robinson, and I'm calling from the Volusia County Health Department. And how are you today? I'm calling from the Volusia County Health Department. Just to confirm, what's your name? Very good. Listen, I'm calling you about your test results. Your test results came in today. It was positive. We do need to get you some treatment, so when is the earliest that you can come in for treatment? That'll be fine. Once you arrive, just ask for me. Thank you.
At the Health Department, we offer screening for many different sexually transmitted diseases, as well as treatment for those diseases. Some of the infections that are incurable, we have medications to provide and counseling to help folks cope.
Some sexually transmitted diseases are chlamydia. Chlamydia is the most commonly reported STD in the United States. Most people who have chlamydia don't know it, since the disease often has no symptoms. Gonorrhea. If they occur, symptoms in men and women vary depending on what part of the body is infected. Gonorrhea can affect the anus, eyes, mouth, genitals, or throat. Genital herpes is a common STD, and most people with genital herpes infection do not know they have it. HIV/AIDS. HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus. It is the virus that can lead to acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS. Human papillomavirus, also called HPV, is the most common sexually transmitted infection. There are more than 40 HPV types that can infect the genital areas of males and females. These HPV types can also infect the mouth and throat. Most people who become infected with HPV do not know they have it. Syphilis. Syphilis is easy to cure in its early stages. Not all STDs are reported in Florida. Nationwide, half of new STD infections occur among young people ages 15 to 24 years, even though this age group makes up 25% of the sexually active population. Data has shown that nearly 70% of all STD cases in Volusia County were among youth and young adults. The Health Department is working to raise awareness and encourage testing. One way is the Department of Health's Face It Florida website. You can check it out at www.faceitflorida.com. For more information about sexually transmitted diseases, please visit www.cdc.gov. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Volusia County Health Department.
If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can log on to volusiahealth.com. And now it's time to head into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron to introduce and chat with Volusia County's Economic Development Manager, Rob Ehrhardt, and Kerry Symolon, the Interim Director of Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, while these continue to be difficult economic times in Volusia County, things seem to be improving, but somewhat slowly. The county's Economic Development Division and Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation keep very close tabs on several key indicators as part of their monitoring of the local economy and working together on creating jobs in Volusia County. We'll talk about some of those economic indicators with our studio guest today, Rob Ehrhardt. He's the county's Economic Development Manager, and Kerry Symolon, the Interim Director of Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation. It's nice to have both of you with us today. Rob, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. It's glad to be here.
It's a pleasure.
Well, again, thank you both very much for being with us. A very important subject. Rob, let's start with you. Let's look at kind of the national landscape. I mean, from what I see, it seems like the economy is getting better. I mean, we see the auto industry coming back some, housing coming back some, kind of sputtering though. And then you look at some unknown factors like fuel prices, kind of instability on the global marketplace. I mean, what do you see on a national basis?
Well, Dave, there is still some uncertainty nationally, but I'm encouraged. There are some positive signs nationally. As an example, gross domestic product, the growth of it continues to be positive.
Right.
And locally, I'm encouraged as well. There are several indicators that show that we have reason to be somewhat optimistic.
I don't think anyone, Rob, thinks that you know, this thing is going to turn itself overnight. I mean, it's going to be a slow, steady process, I would think.
I would agree, Dave. If you like the baseball analogy, this is really going to be a matter of singles and doubles rather than home runs.
Kerry, of course, you're very close to you know, the private sector and that sort of thing. You got your ear to the ground. What are you hearing locally in terms of what our companies are saying about the economy locally?
Well, I'll tell you, Dave, with this new division of labor, the local business visits really is happening through Rob's group here. He probably can provide some good feedback there. But what we're hearing from companies we're talking to, a lot of kicking the tires is really what you're finding. That people are saying they've got plans to move, the manufacturers we're talking to, but in light of this presidential election, a lot of uncertainty.
How about from your perspective, Rob, on the local front, what are you hearing?
I'm hearing encouraging signs from business owners, but again, some uncertainty on issues that are outside their span of control. And they really want to have a good, solid view of what their future looks like before they make any serious spending decisions. That said, there have been a few exceptions.
And I think Kerry made a valid point, you know, with the presidential election and that sort of thing. You know, it's always a period where kind of people kind of wait and see what takes place, huh?
I agree.
Let's look at some of the indicators that your organizations kind of follow. Rob, starting with you, one of the indicators are building permit activity, and it's something that the Economic Development Division at the county keeps very close tabs on. You check the statistics every quarter. What's the deal with construction activity? Let's start with on the residential side.
We do keep those statistics, Dave, and we collect that information quarterly from each of our cities. For the second quarter of 2012, the number of permits are up, and the dollar value for residential new construction permits are also up. As a point of comparison, in the second quarter of 2012, it's roughly 48,600,000.6, as compared to the second quarter a year ago, it's 40,000,000.6. So that's an increase to the positive of about 19–20%.
And looking at the numbers, Kerry, from the commercial side of things, maybe there is a little bit, you know, tougher story there. The companies that are looking into the commercial side of things, as you say, are probably holding back, huh?
Yeah, we had a great meeting with some site selectors who are working really with those higher corporations, larger corporations, and they said most of them these days are definitely looking more at existing inventory. It's out there. It's a better cost.
Rob, what do you hear about the foreclosure side of things? I mean, you know, we've talked in past interviews about the fact that it's hard to predict whether we've gotten to the bottom of the foreclosure market because it takes a long time for these things to work themselves through the system.
It is hard to predict, Dave. There's this concept of shadow inventory, so no one really knows just how large that potential inventory is. But what we do know from the foreclosures that go through the clerk of the court is that there's been a slight decrease in the second quarter of 2012 as compared to the first quarter of 2012. And part of the belief is that the financial institutions, primarily banks that hold these properties, are being smarter in just exactly how they let these into the marketplace rather than flood the marketplace and drive the price down. Their concern is to try to keep the price up as they move these off of their balance sheets.
Kerry, thinking about some of the economic indicators, there's lots of things to look at, both nationally and here locally. What are some of the other indicators that you're monitoring as you go about recruiting new businesses to Volusia County?
There certainly is an interest, as you mentioned, in the unemployment rate, which happens to be actually a lagging indicator of what's happening with the economy, which I find interesting in our recruitment initiative, because our belief fundamentally is that we hopefully can impact that. So it lags what the economy is doing, and we're hoping that we can actually affect that trajectory.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen, Rob, as Kerry mentioned, on the unemployment rate, we've seen it come down slightly. It's still not where we need it to be. But, looking at the job picture in Volusia County, there seems to be a lot of people that are transitioning, getting ready for other jobs. We've talked about new training programs at Daytona State College and that sort of thing. People, I guess, as a result of the economy, may be looking at career changes.
Absolutely. To be clear, the unemployment figure for June of 2012 as compared to a year ago is down 2% from 11.1 to 9.1.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a significant improvement. But again, as you said, it's not where we want it to be. And so I think what people need to recognize, maybe the individuals that are having difficulty finding a job or the ones that are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the economy to improve, is they need to consider what is their skill set, what is the economy looking for in terms of new workers, and to see if there isn't something they can or should be doing now, and there are certainly programs available to assist them.
Kerry, one of the other things that plays into this is the average annual wage, and of course that's something you're both concerned about. How are we doing in average annual wage in Volusia County?
Well, certainly year over year you have seen a slight increase, but I would say the purpose of Team Volusia is hopefully to increase that average wage. It's industry diversification. Right now, a third of our economy is comprised of the tourism industry. It's significant to us, but if you look at the ratio of payroll to jobs, we're actually trying to increase that through bringing in some higher wage, higher impact jobs.
Speaking of higher wage jobs, the manufacturing sector in Volusia County, we've seen a couple of construction starts for new manufacturing jobs, and those jobs seem to be holding their own. In fact, it wasn't all that long ago we were talking with the Volusia Manufacturers Association, and they were saying that there's some good manufacturing jobs out there, but people need to have the proper skill set.
Jane Pfeiffer is, as the president of the Volusia Manufacturers Association, is certainly focused on this very issue and training, developing training programs for local manufacturers. And she made the point during that segment, I believe, Dave, that manufacturing average wages can be $10,000 or more per year, higher than what our average is across the county for all segments.
One of the elements that we have in our community is the CEO Business Alliance, which is made up of the business icons, and they can do things as private sector individuals at both your organization with a lot of public and private money in it, and of course the county's organization with public money. These CEOs can do things that either organization cannot do.
That's very true, and Dr. Kent Sharples is as a part of our team. We meet regularly to ensure that there's a solid understanding of what those leads are, what those opportunities are, so that as the CEO Business Alliance and Team Volusia pursue marketing and advocating for Volusia County, that the Division of Economic Development also understands what the potential support mechanisms might be. As an example, financial incentives. If the company were to ask for that consideration, then there are state programs that are involved, and the Division of Economic Development would need to provide support in that regard. Ultimately, it's up to County Council to consider providing what's called a local financial support for those incentives.
Right. So what I'm hearing you both say, Kerry, your organization, I guess, is primarily focusing on recruiting, getting new companies to come to Volusia County. And Rob, I guess, I'm hearing you say that your organization is focusing on business retention and meeting the needs of companies that are already here, helping them grow as well.
That's right, Dave. And there's another analogy that people like to use, and that's hunting to describe business recruitment, and gardening or farming to describe business expansion. And if you think of the focus that's required to do either of those, I think that helps to understand a little bit more about the difference between recruitment and business expansion.
I know you both have a lot of information available to people that are out there. Rob, for people that want to get more information, perhaps statistics on Volusia County, that sort of thing, how do they get more information?
Dave, they would just need to go to our website, which is www.floridabusiness.org. There's a number of choices. On the left-hand side is one tab called Statistics and Key Reports.
How about from your side, Kerry? How could people get more information from your organization?
From our website as well, www.teamvolusiaedc.com.
Well, it's a great subject. I want to thank both of you for sharing the information with us and being with us today. Rob Ehrhardt with the county's Economic Development Division. Rob, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.
And Kerry Symolon, Interim Director of Team Volusia Economic Development Corporation. Kerry, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.
And with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org. You can also watch the show online. Just go to volusia.org and click on the Volusia Magazine icon. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. And last but not least, we'd like to invite you to the next Volusia County Council meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday, August 23rd at 9 a.m. in the Council Chambers in DeLand. Public participation is welcome. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a great evening.